What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. So we did a video a while back about some crazy bugs that never made it into League of Legends, and in that video I said if it got a lot of positive feedback we'd make another one, and it did. So here we are, and once again we got to give a big thanks to Riot Meme, who really does a great job of just posting these bugs and sharing them amongst us and making this video possible in the first place. So definitely check him out on Twitter, and if you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Let's begin. So first up, we've got a bug that used to happen to Bard when he went to use his ultimate, and everything was kind of, all good and fine right up until he casted his ultimate, and then the character model would just totally spaz out. And if you casted the ultimate on yourself, you could actually freeze him in this animating pose, and we kind of got no idea if it was used as like a skeleton or maybe if it was an animation problem, but either way, it was just hilarious. You guys out there, you probably know Ryze. He's desperate for magical power, but he's also pretty desperate to get ripped. And this bug gave us an insight into one of Ryze's exercise routines, doing lunges, and it was happening during his update. I guess it kind of just goes to show that being able to teleport is no excuse to skipping leg day. We're kind of stumbling on an accidental theme here, because next up we've got a misfortune bug where she does her best impression of Zenyatta from Overwatch. Again, it might have been a little bit of a problem with her animations or maybe just with her model, but either way, it would make her levitate and get into some pretty crazy yoga positions when she tried to recall. Honestly though, I gotta admit, that does look kinda painful. Next up, we've got a bug from the old Ascension game mode actually, and it started happening after Cassiopeia's update, when she ascended by getting a kill on the ancient ascendant Xerath in the game mode. Essentially, she'd turn to stone and crumble into pieces just like in her death animation, but she would still be alive and still be able to attack people anyway. I guess it was just too much power for her body to handle. Vladimir's update kept his old Sanguine pool since it was super iconic to the champion, but apparently it decided to behave a little bit strangely during the development of his rework, for example by just casting itself randomly sometimes for no apparent reason. Apparently this bug was restricted to just the Soul Stealer skin, which kind of makes it twice as weird actually. I have no idea how that would affect anything really. Spaghetti code, anyone? So for our next bug, we've got to give a little bit of context. So the T-pose is kind of like this default pose that champions have. For example, if you use like the model viewer on LoL King, you can kind of see champions like stuck in the T-pose when the animations haven't loaded in. It's like the default base. And apparently the T-pose occasionally shows up in some in-game bugs as well, because instead of dropping to the floor when she died, Fiora would just stand up in her T-pose and not give a single heck. Alright, so this next one isn't technically a bug, but it's really damn cool, and I really wanted to just throw it in here anyway because I didn't know what other kind of video to put it in. So essentially back in Bard's development, Bard had a version where he would leave a trail of little red, blue, and yellow meeps behind him, kind of making him look like a big happy Pied Piper, almost like Olimar almost. We've got no idea what function these little Pikmin lookalikes did, but they were probably an early iteration of his chime and meep concepts. So one of my personal favorites was actually from Kled's development, and if you think about the number of champions and abilities that Riot ends up testing out for any given champion, it does make sense that they kind of just don't go through the art team first, because that would take way too much time for things that usually will just end up getting scrapped, right? So how do you playtest something complex like Kled when you're designing him? Well, you take bits and pieces of existing code, put it together, take a similar sized champion, maybe someone like Gnar, put him on top of a mount like Hecarim, and there you go, that's your model right there. Of course, it's not a perfect solution, but it's actually a really clever way to get a proof of concept and just a working prototype, and it actually looks pretty awesome too. Now we just need an entire game mode that is champions riding other champions into the battle. Alright, now we're going to get back into the things that are actual bugs, and we've got an old Braum bug that happened because the textures created by his passive wouldn't exactly move with the champion they were procced on. So when Braum's passive triggered on a champion, the ability effect is essentially just the champion model that he's hitting, which is kind of like a frosted look to it. So if he stacks his passive and then stuns a champion, and they move away, he leaves behind this awesome ice sculpture. Next up, we've got an Echo bug that was a little bit of a weird interaction between his time clone and Bard's magical journey. Echo's clone is pretty well behaved for the most part nowadays. He kind of just casually follows around Echo with a 4-second delay, but apparently he didn't really like the shenanigans going on inside of the magical journey, so he would just freak out and rebel if Echo went through the portal. Our next bug today features another case of the T-pose, but with a little bit of a twist. So if you went to auto attack with Kog'Maw, there was a bug during his development where Graves would just magically appear out of nowhere in his T-pose, just hanging out next to whatever you attacked. We've got no idea why it was Graves or why it happened when he did something with Kog'Maw, but that's the nature of spaghetti code. You never know what's going to happen. Anyway, that's just about going to wrap up the video for today. I really enjoy making videos like this because it's really hard to appreciate the fact that for every bug that we actually see make it into the game, there's probably about 100 bugs, maybe even more, that don't make it into the game. But that doesn't make those bugs any less cool or interesting to take a look at. So definitely leave us a comment below which one was your favorite from the video. Thanks for watching. Big thanks to the writers that made this video possible. And looks like that's gonna be it for me. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching again. And of course, as always, I'll see you guys next time.